Hello. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will study arrays further than what we have studied so far. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's see. So the first line declares an array A with one element, which is called my. Then at position 1, note that this will go at index 0. This will go at index 1. So at index 1, it will be name. At this moment, the array will stretch, okay, and insert name at position 1. Now, the length of array will become 2 here, okay, when you insert at position 1. Index is 1, length will become 2. Now, at this moment, this is 2. So basically, we are inserting is at third position or index second, because index is 0 based. Then again at in the next line 4, this will be 3. Okay, after insertion, length will increase. And then it will be 3. So now let I is equal to 3. And we can refer the index 3 here, and at the index 3, the value is also 3. So we insert shiv here. Okay, and then we console.log we do, and let's see what array we have. So the array is my name is Shiv. So that's how we read and write elements to array in general by using the bracket syntax. Okay, so you see at this moment in this line number 6, the element is both read as well as written to. So let's see further what we can do with this. Sorry, the keyboard is not working very well. Let me select this and say control slash. Now I will not uncomment the first line. Now let's look at this. So when we declare an array with commas and there is nothing in between them, it will fill those with undefined values. So at this moment, length will be 2. Okay. If you look at console.log 0, there won't be undefined actually. It will be just empty. It is a sparse array. It won't be undefined. Sorry about that. So at this moment, the array will say it has 2 empty items and length is 2. Then we set 0 in A will be false. Then we set the first element or at index 0, we set it to undefined, and then this will return true. So that's what it returned. Okay, 2 empty items, length is 2, false and true. Let us further see this, that what we can do with this. So one of the things is that you can use a constructor to create the array. Okay. Now you can insert at any length, at any index. As you know, it is 32-bit integer. So you can use any value from that integer range and you can assign a value. The length will be automatically stretched. So we start with the array of 10, that is, it will have 10 elements. Let's do a console log there as well. So console.log. Then we have it. So let's overwrite now down. So at line number 17, array will have 10 empty elements. Then we stretch the length to 100. Then we see that the 100th element becomes 0. And 100th element will become 0 because this is the index. So at this moment, array will have 101 elements. Then we delete the 0 and the array will be filled with all empty elements. So that's what we see. Now we can use similar technique to lessen the length. As you can see, by assigning, we can increase the array size. And similarly, if we set the length to 2, what will happen is that the last 3 elements will be deleted. So only 1 and 2 will be part of the array now. That's what we see here. Now, array length property makes it different from regular JavaScript objects. And I think strings also have length. The sparse array which we created just in the example, that is this array, where there were empty elements were there, they are stored in memory in such a manner that those are memory efficient. The access is a bit slower, but it is never slower than the like accessing property of an object. Okay, so at first it will perform as an object, and if you ask me the runtime, it will be log n. It will never be worse than log n. Okay. Now we look at more functions of array. We will specifically look at two functions, push and pop. So let's continue with this example. So at this moment, array has element 1 and 2, and then we push 3. So push will insert this item at the end, and console.log will print 1 to 3. Then we pop an element and save it in last element, and the last element will print 3. So this entire thing is going to print 1 to 3 and 3. So what we do here is, what we do here is we comment out this line, we run this. We get 1, 2, 3 and 3. There are two more methods which we will discuss later. Those are called shift and unshift, which does a similar kind of work like push and pop. Okay, my keyboard is not working very nicely. Now we consider some ways in which we can iterate an array. So suppose we have this hello world string converted to a character array, and then we iterate using classical for loop. So the index starts from 0, iterates till hello dot length and gets incremented, and it prints the character array's element at position I. So let's see. So it prints hello space world. That is the old way of doing this. Okay. The new way of doing is for of loop. So suppose we have an empty string s and we iterate using for letter of hello. So this character array we are iterating upon, at each iteration, it will get one character from this and we will add that to string. So this also will print hello world. Okay. Note that this iterates the array in increasing order. So let's see. And there we have our hello world. Now we comment this out. And let's see another way to iterate the array. So suppose you want the index as well. Then you can say let I comma L, where I is the index and L is value. Let's call it value, and let's call this index. Okay. Then we will have to alter this. We call this index and we call this value. So by iterating on entries of hello, you can get index and value both. And in this case, we are only adding the array elements at the even position. Okay, odd positions are discarded. So we'll print HLO word. So we don't need this. Now we don't need this as well. There is another shortcut is for each array. So in this case, what we will do is we iterate, and it also gives length and the index. So similarly, we can add the character at the element, and we can print the index as well. Okay. So you see, it will print all the index in the for loop, and finally it will print S. Note that getting index is optional here, and you can simply write this much, and still your string will be constructed. We don't even need the parenthesis, but I use it for the clarity of code that what is function body. It is an arrow function and for each loop. So let's see this, how does it work. That gives us hello world. So this was the small video on arrays of JavaScript. There is a lot of this you can learn, and it will serve you very well if you can remember this. And in the next video, we'll start looking at different methods which we can invoke on arrays. For example, I talked about push and pop. So this push and pop were two functions. And similarly, I talked about shift and unshift. We'll see those methods. There will be splice, index of, and all those things. So we'll see those in the next video. And thanks a lot for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, enjoy.